Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back again, everyone, at least those of you who may be coming back from our misfire at 7 p.m. My apologies, we were not broadcasting on all the major platforms as we normally would. More technical problems as we work out the bugs in this new system. So I wanted to come back on at 8 and apologize for the technical problems, but here we are. We're back in the saddle and broadcasting again, and I will bring you a condensed version of the program tonight because of the technical problems and because I was going to provide you with an abbreviated version of the program tonight anyway, because we continue to work on the technical stuff here in the studio. We were doing that all afternoon, and we're going to continue doing it when we sign off tonight. But it is an important news day because Trudeau is in trouble, big trouble. There is an internal caucus revolt underway, as I've been saying for a long time. His political days are numbered, the writing is on the wall, and you can see that tonight as Trudeau was away at the ASEAN summit, thousands and thousands of miles away. Powerful members of parliament from within his own caucus took out the knives and started plunging them into his back when he wasn't around. Couldn't do anything about it. No Wi-Fi on his plane. Didn't even know about it until he touched ground. And now he has caucus members from Atlantic Canada and in Ontario in particular looking to put pressure on him to step aside. We'll talk about that briefly tonight. Well, maybe even in a little bit of depth. I'll show you what's going on with that. Also, Trump ramps up the rhetoric on illegal immigration at his rallies, and another shooting at a Jewish girls' school here in Canada prompts the Jewish community to call for action, and it sparks outrage among some members of the community, politicians paying lip service to it, I think maybe tonight. Others taking it maybe a little more seriously, but a very serious situation. We'll show you what's happened there as well. And I'm just kind of winging it here tonight as we continue to work through these technical problems, and I will be right back after this.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
We're back. So, let's dig into this story about Trudeau and the Caucus Revolt first of all. We're focusing on the political turbulence within Canada's Liberal Party, like right within the Liberal Party, and some of the most powerful members of Trudeau's caucus. And so while Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was aboard his airplane and went abroad attending the ASEAN summit, reports of a significant caucus revolt began to surface, stirring the political waters here at home. The unrest within the Liberal ranks isn't really new, but it's gained momentum following a series of setbacks for Trudeau's government. Key among these were the by-election losses in traditionally strong Liberal areas, which have left the party searching for answers and, more crucially, a way forward. So let's talk about this revolt. While Trudeau was overseas at the ASEAN summit, a group of Liberal members of Parliament, feeling the heat from these losses in these by-elections and plummeting poll numbers, started organizing. Their aim? To push Trudeau out of the leadership. This isn't just idle chatter. This is very, very serious. Sources indicate some members of Parliament, Liberal members of Parliament, have been asked to sign on to a document. Not for public circulation. This is confidential. We know it exists, though. And this is supposed to be a pledge to seek Trudeau's resignation if he doesn't step down voluntarily. Strength and safety in numbers, I guess, even if it's a signature on a piece of paper that's done in secret. But mark my words, Trudeau will know who his backstabbers are. It's a very dangerous time for both Trudeau and the MPs who are standing against him. Careers hang in the balance here. Upon hearing of this internal strife, Trade Minister Mary Ng expressed disappointment, stating her full confidence in Trudeau's leadership. Even made a public statement. I think she was on Global News, saying she still has full confidence in the Prime Minister. This public show of support contrasts sharply, though, with the murmurs of dissent within the caucus, highlighting this divide. I've been saying for a long time, for months now, Trudeau's days are numbered. He's on his way out one way or another. He's either going to lose the election, in which case that will trigger a leadership review. He'll lose, he'll be gone, or he's going to step aside now because of pressure from within the Liberal Party itself. The members of Parliament, these Liberal caucus members, they can see that the party is in trouble. Huge problems. They're at this terrible place in the polls. The public can see that Trudeau himself is way past his best before date. Let's bring up the 338 poll and I'll show you what I mean. If the election were to be held today, the Conservatives would walk away with 222 seats. You only need 172 for a majority government. The Liberals would only shore up support for 57 seats. The Bloc Québécois, 42. NDP, just 20. And the Green Party, 2. It would be a massive landslide victory for the Conservatives. The Liberals are in deep, deep, deep trouble. I think we would be looking probably at a record majority government, Conservative government, if the election were to be held today. So, since Trudeau's return to Canada, the situation has now evolved. The Prime Minister's office has been actively gauging the caucus's mood with efforts to stabilize the party. However, the push for change hasn't waned completely. Trudeau's strategy appears to be focusing on past achievements like national pharmacare, dental care, trying to shift the narrative from leadership to his legacy. But make no mistake, things are still very, very hot within the Liberal Party. The coming weeks will be critical for Trudeau, given what has just happened, with the NDP having pulled out of their supply and confidence agreement. The government's stability is in question. The NDP, of course, has been propping up this minority Liberal government, making its viability part of their priority in order to have a disproportionate amount of influence over government activities during the supply and confidence agreement, the Liberals face the challenge of uniting now under Trudeau's leadership or facing a potential leadership review, especially with by-elections and the general election looming. Of course, timing is critical. The Liberals have potentially until like next October, a year to play with here before an election absolutely must be called unless things transpire to force an election through something like a confidence vote. So I think some of these members of parliament are seeing what's going on, and they are strategizing, saying, hey, you know, we need somebody new at the helm because Trudeau's popularity has eroded. The party's fortunes are on the rocks. We're sinking in the polls. We need time. They need time to have a leadership review, a proper leadership convention, select a new leader, and then build that new leader up through campaigning heading into a new election, which by all indications, I would say at this point, you're probably looking at next spring. Publicly, there's a mix of frustration with the government's handling of issues like inflation and housing, alongside concern over Trudeau's leadership effectiveness. This internal revolt might just be the electorate's frustration finding an echo within the Liberal Party itself. So, as this story unfolds, it's clear that Trudeau's leadership is under the microscope tonight more than ever, with the Prime Minister under such scrutiny and pressure, unprecedented. He's never faced this kind of challenge before. Will he be able to weather this storm, or could we be witnessing the beginning of a transition within Canadian politics? We'll continue to follow this major development. The winds of change are a-blowing. I will be right back.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarmingly, some media publish things they simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
In an ocean of lies a century deep, the truth awaits. Choose not the red pill. Choose not the blue pill. For both are an illusion. Discover the power of M. The power of individuality. We are Mavericks. We are the way to the light. Fear not the storm. Join our quest for truth. Truth will set you free. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So we saw today, man's name's Salman Sima, Iranian, born, now living in Canada. He's become something of a political activist, I would say, organized or was involved with, at least on some level, a demonstration on Parliament Hill following those incidents over the past week where we saw pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah activists, protesters chanting "Death to Canada," burning the Canadian flag. Salman, of course, is from the Iranian diaspora, who, you know, he's opposed to the current Iranian regime. And on Parliament Hill today, this event that he was involved with, I guess there was a gathering there, not huge, I wouldn't say, but they got their message out, and I thought we should give him a little bit of time here as well. So here is Salman on Parliament Hill and his entourage.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command, qu'à ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, that's quite a contrast to death to Canada, death to the United States, death to Israel. Wow. Huge difference. So that's what was going on Parliament Hill today with that demonstration. And you saw the sign, ban Samidoun. And Samidoun is that political activist group that is pro-Hamas, literally pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah. And we saw the activists in Vancouver shouting death to Canada and burning the Canadian flag on the steps of an art gallery. There, quite a week it's been. What else do we have for you tonight? Oh yes, there is this story. Toronto police are searching for suspects again after more shots were fired at this Jewish girls' school. The school is for girls between the ages of 4 and 14. More shots fired out there. Toronto police are asking for the public's assistance. Here, I'll show you what the police have posted about this. And this is the second time we have seen this happen at this school, this exact school. Here it is. There's the post from Toronto Police. Wrong post. There it is. And it says, we are investigating the troubling firearm discharges at the Bays Chaya Mushka Elementary School. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Early this morning, anyone who was in the area or may have relevant video or dash cam footage, please come forward. And it says here, we understand the fear and pain this causes, especially on Yom Kippur. To Toronto's Jewish community, we stand with you. Your safety is our priority. We are committed to finding those responsible. And the Jewish community there is demanding action after this incident. It is the second time in just a few months that we've seen this kind of thing happening. If you go back to May, shots were fired back then as well. And at that time, there was video captured of the incident. I'm going to turn this audio down. And this was released at the time. This is May 25th. And these two suspects opened fire on the school, as you'll see. And then run away. And this is in Canada. So that was back in May. Similar incident again now. And we've seen comments from politicians. Trudeau has responded, saying, the anti-Semitism is unacceptable. He's going to, won't stand for it. But we've seen comments like that from the politicians before, and really I haven't seen any action at all from politicians. Now, just moving ahead here, let's take a look at what's going on politically in the U.S. Glenn Beck speaking at Trump rally over the past 24 hours. And Glenn Beck saying, really, this is part of a spiritual war. That's what this election, that's what's on the line. Let's just pick up his comments here. This is Glenn Beck of The Blaze. Conservative influencer.
We are also, I feel prompted to tell you that the biggest, most obvious and dangerous perversion, one that should set everyone's alarm bells off, is this. Every Sabbath, every Sunday, if you go to church, you break bread in remembrance of him. This is my body, which I have given up for you. The left has perverted that to the point to where it is, this is my child's body, which I will give up for me. That is evil and must not continue. We are looking at a relationship with evil that cannot be tolerated. The Constitution is hanging by a thread. It is time for the good people that know the difference between right and wrong to stand up and save the Republic. It is time to call on God's army that is armed with our voices and our vote.
So that's part of the cultural issue, right? Or the cultural package that is being debated and litigated in the court of public opinion through this election. And then there's the immigration issue, and Trump really turning the heat up again today. I believe he's in Arizona again today, and he's now calling for the death penalty, literally for the death penalty, for any illegal migrant who kills a police officer.
Get up, and I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. Get up. And
So it just keeps getting hotter every day. They keep turning up the heat. But we're only 3 weeks away from the election, and tonight we're seeing new polling showing that Trump has made up some lost ground. Kamala Harris enjoyed a bit of a honeymoon period there, surged in popularity when she secured the nomination after Biden decided to step aside. Then there was the debate. I think Kamala scored some points there as well, surged again. But tonight we're seeing new polling showing that it is now a dead heat again. Literally across the board, it's just about a dead heat. Overall, 48% to 48%. That's the way it's polling tonight, according to new information, new polling. I believe it was an NBC poll that has come out. This all just 3 weeks. And this is a new NBC News poll. Deadlocked race. Yeah, here, I'll show you. I'll just bring it up on the screen. Really, really close. Oh, wrong window there, Rick. Here we go. We'll bring it up on the screen. There it is. You can see the graph. .48 to 48. Harris and Trump each getting the same level of support now. And then you've got a lot of pundits and people providing analysis. Very hard to say where this really is going, and it depends on how much stock you put into this polling. I think it's probably true that it is very, very close. I think that's probably fairly accurate, given the mood that of the public out there. Very emotional, though, and anything can happen between now and Election Day. 3 weeks is like an eternity in politics. And I'm not really sure that we've seen the true October surprises yet. I haven't seen any of these, really explosive gotcha moments that normally emerge, that are sort of pre-planned. Hit jobs by both sides against, the opposing candidate. I haven't seen anything that explosive emerge yet. Maybe it's because of the unusual nature of this election, because Biden steps aside, Harris comes in. Maybe the Trump camp didn't have anything heavy enough to hit Kamala with, because they weren't planning on having her as the opponent. They were thinking it was going to be Biden. Well, everything has changed now. I don't know. It just doesn't seem... There have been issues, but nothing, I don't think, has risen to the level to the level of an October surprise. So maybe it's still to come. We shall see. Now tonight, I'd say this is in the super ultra cool file. I think we take technology for granted and human achievement for granted these days. It's like human beings are doing so many cool, positive, inspirational things, so many things, that we just kind of like, oh, whatever, just what happened today? No big deal. Just another SpaceX rocket coming in, being captured upon landing a rocket by the Mechazilla arms so that they can reuse the engines. This is just an incredible engineering feat. And it just shows how incredibly resourceful and ingenious human beings can be. Here's the footage of the rocket coming in and landing and being captured on this gigantic tower. How tall is this? I think it's like 18 stories or something like that. I mean, just absolutely massive. Let's take a look at the footage. So this is like catching in flight an apartment building. It's that big. A high-rise apartment building. Look at this. How do they do this?
Landing burn, 13 ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in here.
Wow.
Godzilla had popped through straight.
Wow.
This is absolutely insane. On the first ever attempt, we have successfully caught the Super Heavy booster back at the launch tower. What an incredible view!
Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna run look at that again.
Landing burn has been ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in view.
Current shutdown. Godzilla had popped through straight.
Absolutely wicked.
Absolutely insane. On the first ever attempt, we have successfully caught the Super Heavy booster back at the launch tower. What an incredible view!
That's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. We've got another angle on this. Let's look at this angle. This is wickedly insane. I love it. Look at this. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Here. Just amazing. Human beings are capable of so many cool things, man. Let's look at the launch, too.
I get the video.
Look at that.
Oh, it's so cool. I feel like I'm in a sci-fi. There it is. Wait.
You know, it just shows you. We've got problems, and there is, you know, there's a lot that needs to be fixed. But we're doing amazing things. There's so much to be hopeful for. And what's on display right there? That is the best of our society. That's the best of our countries. That is what can be achieved. You can literally shoot for the stars and get there. It's about attitude. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to us. What do you choose? Negativity? You're going to go hide someplace under a rock because you're afraid of things? Or are you going to embrace the future, meet it head on, and do something constructive and positive and build a better future for you, your family, for your kids, your grandkids? I know what I want to do. I want to move forward. I want to make things better. And that's part of the equation right there. And that's something right there that we can all embrace. We can all be proud of that. I have concerns about Elon Musk and some of the other things that he does. But that's not just Elon Musk. That's a lot of people. That represents the best of America, the best of Western society. God bless America. and Canada and Europe and all of the West. And God bless capitalism. That's what happens with it right there. God bless freedom. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Catch you on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.